Hello and welcome to Looking Up with Laird here on Sorare TV. I'm Andrew Laird, senior. What was I going to say? Head of content. Senior was with my old job. Head of content at Sorare Data, Lairdinho on
Harry thinks
Sorare.
you're a senior, that's for sure.
So it's funny you say that. Well, joined by Harry Trades, Sam Tighe. We were just chatting before we started recording. Sam was just big timing us because he's winning super rares. He's going to Sorare meetups. Harry's saying he's basically on his deathbed because he's almost 26 years old. And I'm just sitting here just like, man, I'm just done. There's nothing I can be here. We should just start the show so that these guys can continue big timing me. And hopefully we all can get something out of this. Sam, what's it like being a whale now?
Oh, yeah, with 3 super rares under my belt. I feel my flippers growing with every week. It's I don't know, man. I feel like I'm looking down on everyone in my life now. Like my wife doesn't have 3
here
super
right
rares.
now. You're looking down.
I look at my wife and I say, how many super rares have you got? None. Exactly. I've got 3 now. I used my first 2 to win a 3rd one. No, I'm very pleased. I'm very happy. I actually got a player who doesn't look too bad. I entered what you guys call the tier 3 lottery. Pleased to have finally earned a ticket because I came 7th in the super rare kickoff, and I got some bloke from Austria. I actually can't remember his name. Pommer, something like that. He looks all right. Yeah, absolutely great. So pretty happy with that. My plan is to win or place top 15 in super rare kickoff every week for the next 6 weeks, and build a small army of super rares, and then I'll be ineligible for the kickoff tournament because I'll have more than 10. And then you never know. We'll see. But I've decided this is the way to do it. There's only 300 people enter it. Like it's just like it's quite quiet over there.
Is the strategy not to sell the 10th one every, like your bottom one every week and then just keep doing kickoff?
Probably, yeah, because I guess you can still enter the cap 240 and kickoff if you have 9. So yeah, you probably never want to go up to the 11. You can have just 10 or under, so never go 11.
10 or under. Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think it's 10 or under. Yeah, that's a good idea. I'll never go 11.
In the spirit of Sorare content, will you be pumping him today as one of our looking up?
No, because you know me, I can only act in good faith and good conscience. And given I could barely remember the bloke's name 3 minutes ago, it will not surprise you to hear that I've never seen the guy play. So I think we'll wait at least a week and see what happens.
That's fair. It gives you some time to watch some YouTube videos and make sure you become an expert from that. Harry, I'm going to let you start today because you're so old that I'm hoping that you don't just like fall asleep during the middle of this now that you're, again, almost 26. So just a reminder before Mr. Trade starts that we track everyone on this Looking Up with Laird on Sorare TV Watchlist on Sorare Data. Looks like 168 people are now subscribed. I think that still puts us around like the 5th most followed, which is frankly unacceptable. So if you're watching this video, there are many more people who watch this video. Speaking of which, please like, subscribe, all that good stuff. So more people watch this video than subscribe to this watch list. And again, as a reminder, I'll say it every week, you get the watch list update before the video comes out. Like last week, you could have been sitting here being like, do I really want to buy James Tarkowski? And then you do, and the guy scores a goal. But no, you're sitting there just without the Tarkowski goal. And you could have done it. So anyway, Harry, who are we adding to our list?
Okay, so this week, I'm still on the Premier League hype for half of my picks, so one of them. And we'll go with him first, and it's a Dwight McNeil.
Ooh.
So I'm following the trend.
The guy that's sent in the corner for Tarkowski.
What a coincidence.
Here we go.
So, Dwight McNeil. This is funny because, Jesus, I like not to bring in other platforms, but I was, a big advocate of Football Index back in the day, and Dwight McNeil was one of the wonder kids on Football Index. He was like 19 at the time at Burnley, taking corners, left-footed, a very similar sort of profile, I guess, to Michael Olise in terms of like how they play football, what sort of positions they operate on the field, and technically as well, very, very similar left foot. But yeah, Dwight McNeil is back on my radar. He's 23 now. He's under 23 until 2024. So you not only have this rest of this season, you have next season as well, which is important, I think, because ultimately, Everton are still in a bit of a dogfight, right? Obviously, good win on the weekend against Arsenal. Tarkowski with the goal, Dwight McNeil with the assist, 60 scored decisively and 14 AA. He is still, he is back taking set pieces, back in the team. Look, this is more of a longer term play in the sense of like you're sort of hedging your bet, right? If Everton do go down, I can't see Dwight McNeil not playing for Everton next season. Really, they're going to lose a load of their sort of star players. Onana's probably going to move if they do go down, or I probably guarantee that. Others the same, but they're going to keep a core sort of group of those English boys. Tarkowski, I can imagine, Cody, like a load of those lads. Iwobi probably, or all probably stay, even though Iwobi plays for Nigeria. I just think I just don't really see him moving personally. And, a championship Dwight McNeil sounds quite interesting to me. A premiership Dwight McNeil, on his day has the capabilities to score pretty well. He has the Michael Olise type of, set piece taking, left footed, gets assists, plays on the wing. Like they're very similar in sort of attributes in that sense. But you're going to get him for a lot cheaper than you would Michael Olise, a little bit older, whatever. Was he 25 quid? He's been, what did he go for? 10 hours ago, £25 for a limited. If he didn't have the under 23 eligibility next season, I'd be a bit skeptical, sort of pumping him in that sense, because I'd be worried that, you couldn't use him in the championship as an under 23. He is also a forward, which is something that I probably should have mentioned a little bit quicker, which is huge. Because there's loads of decently good midfielders that take set pieces, blah blah blah. But forwards, i.e., their card on Sorare as a forward, is a big deal. Most wingers aren't forwards on Sorare for whatever reason. Saka being one of them, for whatever reason, they're just not forward cards. And I think in the way that Dwight McNeil plays football, he's always trying to get attempted assists, and I wouldn't really put him down as a defensive, player in that sense. Like he's not really winning you massive duels. He might get the interception, which can be scored as a forward. Of course, you still get the 3 points. You just don't get the tackles. I think the way he plays football and the way he's going to score points, i.e. the assists and whatever, is going to benefit him being a forward card. So I think it's a really interesting pick, to be honest. And with the eligibility next season, I do see there being upside either way. Obviously, if he goes down, I think it's even better. But if they don't and they survive, who knows? You might have a Dwight McNeil in the Premier League for another season, under 23, of course.
To continue the other platforms, he's like always such a great play on DraftKings for DFS. Like McNeil is like a long time, I don't want to call him a cult hero, but like people love him because like, yeah, he's always forward eligible, takes set pieces, and like that's all you need. Yeah. A championship U23 set piece taking forward.
Name me one, because Zion was close. Zion, like he took set pieces for Fortuna or whatever, but he takes the odd free kick, I guess, for Millwall. But he's not on corners as far as I'm aware. And Dwight McNeil is an excellent, has been in the past a very good corner taker. So,
did Joao Pedro do it for Watford?
Possibly.
No. He's injured, so the answer is no. But
no, yeah, for now. That could be a good shout, though. That is a good shout.
Maybe when he's fit, yeah. But he's, the price difference between Joao Pedro and McNeil is quite a lot, to be fair.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I'm just looking. Yeah, to be fair, Joao Pedro took 8 corners. Sema's took 46. So I'm going to go with no, effectively, in terms of
Sema, the poor man's Benzema, as I call him.
No, the upside, thanks to relegation, is huge. And obviously we don't have that many mints yet, 20 limiteds, 2 rares, one of which is being auctioned right now. But yeah, just like I said, the temptation of possibly getting a set piece taking forward, full stop, is great.
Yeah.
Put it into the championship and you're just like, it's great. I love that some people have caught on a little bit as we see his price now above where the 1 of 1,000 went.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why there wasn't some immediate rush to get Dwight McNeil's 1 of 1,000, but I guess he just missed it. We just all missed out on that one. But yeah, I think that's a really fun call with upside that like you just, like we said, like you just don't get many set piece taking forwards, period. And then to have one that's U23 and might play 340 games in a season is really encouraging.
Harry, I think you've underplayed his utility short term as well. I appreciate the long term factor is strong, but he's just a good player. And he's entering a much better situation. It's the same conversation from last week on Tarkowski. It's like basically pick your pawn in the Sean Dyche renaissance. So just pick whichever one you want. And for you, it's going to be the under 23 set piece taker. For me, it's going to be the grizzled centre half. You know, everyone gets to pick one. Andrew, who would you like? You can have Pickford. Everyone pick one because they're all on the up. Surely they're all on the up.
Yeah.
No, yeah, 100%. 100%.
Does Dyche stay if they go down?
I think he'd stay. If it was up to him, I think he'd stick around and do it. You cannot second guess what that board is thinking at any one moment, though. So who knows? Yeah.
No, I like it. And always appreciate a good post to July 1st birthday. That's all. Always helps relax. Anyway, Sam, anyone from the Prem this week?
No, and I'm really pleased that not only did Harry put forward a Premier League player, but he put forward a player that people would have heard of. Because my guys, I mean, Jesus, I'm just pleased we've got the headline name out there in Dwight McNeil. Because now we're going to go to Alfred Gomez, goalkeeper. Just that, that really important part of Sorare that everybody hates. And this one is pretty simple. He is a starting goalkeeper. We have a starting rare goalkeeper sat there on the market at floor at 0.35. It's £475 at the time of recording. And in fact, I think there might be 2 on the market for about that mark as well. One may have gone there. Go and get the other one. Basically, Gomez has made one of the most bizarre moves, on paper at least, I think, from January of anybody. He's gone from Rennes in Liga to Como in Serie B. So from the French top tier to the Italian second tier. He has played about 5 games in the space of a year because he got injured. Then he dropped out of the Rennes side. He did go to the World Cup, but he didn't play because he's Senegal's number 2. And he's kind of found himself a little bit marooned. If you go through and it's just like all DNP, with a random 3-game spell where he returned to fitness at the end of last season. I think they may have tried to shop window him. It didn't seem to work. But now finally, he's just gone, can I please play some football? This is a man who just wants to play football. And he's ended up at Como, who are towards basically middle-ish table in Serie B. Obviously, that's covered, so that's great. He stepped in and he immediately kept a clean sheet. I think he signed on the Friday and played the next day, which was very strange. And I took his limited thinking that he'd be great for capped. And then his L15 became that score. And I was furious. Because I didn't field him. Because I was like, well, he only signed yesterday. There's no way they'll play him. They stuck him in and he did great. And then he plays the next game at home to Frosinone, who are top of the league. That's one of the hardest fixtures that you can get in Serie B. And he puts together a pretty reasonable score there. AA of 10 with no clean sheet. So Alfred Gomez, too good for this level. If I had the budget, I'd buy him at rare. I don't know what happens next season, but he's got half a year between now and the end of May. He's got 15 fixtures. And you can honestly, if you've got a half decent team in rare, you can pay him off in those 15 fixtures with ease. 0.35. I've been looking around at goalkeeper markets and stuff. I've just picked up another one for America, and I thought I got a good deal getting an American goalkeeper at 0.45, I think, or 0.4, something like that. And I was like, that's not bad. It's quite close to season, And then I saw this and I was like, oh my Lord, he literally plays. He's playing on Saturday. This is crazy. So this is my recommendation for this week.
Did you say this was a loan or did he sign with them?
It's a loan. It's a loan. Okay. Yeah. So I don't know exactly happens next season. But I mean, if he had 10 games left, I'd be a bit wary. But 15 is a good shout. He was pretty good for Rennes. He just kind of fell out of the picture a bit. I remember him being genuinely good. In fact, I remember when Edouard Mendy left Rennes to join Chelsea, Rennes asked Mendy for a recommendation on a replacement, and they said, "Oh yeah, my guy Alfred, he's like my backup at the national team level. You should sign him." And they were like, "Cool, done." And that's how he ended up at Rennes.
That's awesome.
Good caliber.
I think it's like there's pretty much no chance he goes back to Rennes and plays. So
I would imagine so. Although they do have Steve Mondonda, who is 100 million years old.
Yes.
So I mean, I don't know what they're thinking there.
But they also have
not as old as me though.
No. No.
I am older than Steve Mandanda, just for the record. Don't they have a U23 backup?
They don't.
Yeah.
They do. I don't know. I don't know anything about him. Yeah, I don't know what the forward bet is, but okay, let's play a game, Laird. When this season ends, so let's go with Gomez maintains an L15 or an L40 or like an average rate of like 50, 52, something like that. He's a pretty good goalkeeper. When you get to the end of the season and there's like a bit of a slant on his graph and people start to get out, where does his floor fall to? 0.25?
I think that's reasonable because there are enough people who are just going to see the continuous starts and not realize that he was on. Like, there are just enough people who don't do research who are willing to somehow spend, 400 pounds on a goalkeeper without doing any research whatsoever, other than, oh yeah, he plays all the time. But you would have to imagine that the move to Como was to play, and that's not to play now and then sit next season. So
yeah, 100%. I don't know what it's going to be, but you'd imagine he and Rennes are going to divorce pretty soon. And this loan is just like, look, I just need to go and play. I haven't played for 12 months. Let's go and do it. And so he's playing pretty well.
Yeah, and I mean, there are not many nicer places to live.
Oh wow, I know.
So like, if it was just a lifestyle decision, sometimes that happens, and you can play football while you're there. So. And frankly, staying there isn't bad either. Like, we have coverage and a ton of games.
Staying there would be great. He's way too good for this level.
I mean, isn't that what we want?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. I love it. Mr. Trades, over to you.
Yeah, so my second and final pick is a personal pump. I cannot lie. I've been due one of these. I haven't.
We should have some sort of like alarm or something that goes off when we are pumping our own guys. But yeah,
we need Quinny to edit in an alarm when there's a personal pump. But this was triggered by just a great performance on the weekend. Something that I've been waiting for this kid to have had for a long time, and it's Jorbe Vertessen. That is now at Union Saint-Galois in the Jupiter Pro League in Belgium on loan until June from PSV. And I picked up his 1 of 10 super rare basically a year ago, I imagine. It was definitely a while ago on auction. There's been a couple since minted and one and whatever. And just a player that I've followed for a while. He has electric pace. Did I buy 2? I didn't buy 2, did I?
No. But somebody else bought.
Immediately left? Okay, interesting.
Right after. The number 2 went. So this
they
auctioned both of them on this back-to-back days.
Interesting. Yeah, they do seem to. Yeah, why not? Sorare seem to do that for whatever reason. But wasn't playing at PSV at the time. He'd be in and out, like he'd come off the bench sometimes and get the odd goal. I think he had a couple where like he'd scored like got a goal or assist. He had a few high. Yeah, there's a few high 80s and there's a 98 there as well.
Yep.
I think he scored 3 decisive in that game. So I've he's played his part, but never been able to solidify a starting position really. In that PSV side, they've got Luke de Jong there now. They've obviously got rid of a few boys, and I thought Gakpo leaving, Madueke leaving would help him, but for some reason it just hasn't. He's clearly not in line, or was in line to be a starter after all those departures. And Van Nistelrooy has sent him on loan to Belgium. He is Belgium, so yeah, I don't know what academy came through. To be honest, I'd have to have a look into that. But I know he hasn't been there for like 13 years or whatever. He moved to PSV pretty early in his career and stuff. And yeah, he's back. Debut, 65 minutes, goal. 2 assists, 15.8 AA. He helped me win a tier 3 super on the weekend in cap 220. Sorry, 4-man lineup, and I've watched the highlights of the game. He looked electric. Like I said, he's ridiculously fast, and he plays up front with somebody else. So there's always sort of someone up there with him. With PSV, obviously, you're playing a 4-3-3 for the most part. You're kind of up there on your own. I just don't know if that really suits him, but it seemed, the 2-man sort of forward situation on the weekend worked great for him. They won 4-0, 2 assists. Like I said, he put a few other chances on the plate for a couple of players. He had a few shots himself. Honestly, I just don't see how these. I know there's only 12 games left. Maybe I know there's the playoffs as well, so that's an extra maybe 4 games or something. I don't know the exact numbers, but there's still a good chunk of utility left for this end of the season for Jorge. And I see him having a pivotal role in this team. USG are a very, very good side. Didn't they win the league last year as well from being promoted? Like they've exceeded all expectations, I think. And to even do it like back to back, are they again top of the league? I'm pretty sure. They're definitely up there. Yeah, they're definitely first or second as far as I'm aware. But they score goals, and you want your forwards to be playing for teams that score goals. And under 23 until 2025, even beyond this sort of until June, basically, do I know what's going to happen to him after June? Of course not. If this loan deal goes exceptionally well, why can't they buy him? Really, that would be an interesting sort of move for him. Would it be a bit backwards? Maybe, but if they're playing, Champions League or Europa League, it might not be in that sense. What would you rather do? Be on the bench for PSV for the next year, or go and play in Belgium for the best team in Belgium and score goals? Because at the end of the day, for a 22-year-old forward, you need goals under your belt. It's just as simple as that. You don't progress in the game if you don't score goals, and to do that, you need to play games. And if they're willing to give him those games, then I'm all for it. And I think his scores are only going to see benefits to that.
They're sitting second right now. Genk are 7 points ahead.
True, of course.
Genk
have been great. Yeah,
he has played with them since 2009. Like he was in the PSV academy, so he's a PSV boy at least for a little bit. So they obviously got rid of Dante Van Zier, who went to New York Red Bulls. So like there was an opportunity for him to like slot right in. He obviously did. These 2 assists, 15.8 all around in 65 minutes is really, really fun. And I feel like maybe we discussed him, maybe not on a show, but I feel like we discussed him previously when he got the move. And you were like, all right, well, he's going to play now. Or I'm sorry, it was actually when Hackbo left, and then when who was
Madueke
left, and you were like, it's time.
Time.
Right. And then it wasn't time, but it was like, it kind of makes sense. But if he does really well here, like those guys are not coming back. So even next season, like maybe he is one of the guys now at PSV, which is one of the situations you want to be in if you're in the Netherlands, right? So like
if you're playing, why not? I mean, he's a striker, I think, by trade, but he can be deployed on the wing if he kind of has to. I think he's basically like, the Belgium Jamie Vardy is probably the best way to describe it. If no one's watched him play, he's a very similar, a bit smaller and a bit stockier than a Jamie Vardy. But in terms of pace, on the last man, on the shoulder of the last defender, basically, and he's just going to make darting runs in behind, down the channels, in between both centre-backs as well, not only, full-back to centre-back. Like, he's just a nightmare to play against. And, pace is essential to this modern game, more so than ever before, I guess. And he has an abundance of it. It's just, can he sort of get the the technical side of the game, in a way to where it's producing goals, it's producing assists. He started off really well. Look, small sample size, of course, but I do like what I'm seeing. It's definitely looking up for him.
Sam, I'm gonna have you point this out since I don't want to, but before you do that, Harry, you said you wanted a card with him last week?
I did.
And which competition was that in?
Cap 220?
The number doesn't even matter. Capped
Just
L15 of 38. I'm just going to steal it. Man. Sorry.
Yeah.
This you're just gonna absolutely print rewards in cap mode with this guy. I mean, look, this is the ideal. This 86 is just you have the opposite of the Gomez situation where he like didn't play and then he smashes. There was somebody Lautaro Giannetti, is that his name? From one of the South American teams, had an L15 of 0 and banged 100 in the game week before cap mode started. So he went into cap mode. Everybody was like, oh, he's a cheat code because he's 0. But no, he was actually 100.
Oh, that is horrible.
And then, but so now we have Vertessen coming in with an 86, and you're like, oh, man. But no. We got some 26s, a 25, a 24.
Beautiful.
I love it. Just all cap mode all the time, fellas. Anyway. Sam, do you have a better cap mode option for your last pick, or?
I might. I genuinely like. I mean, it's going to be in that conversation. It's not why I'm putting him forward, but you are obviously going to latch onto it. It's so my second player is Asier Villalibre, who has joined Deportivo Alaves on loan again from Athletic Club. Very interesting character, this man. I actually have a little model of him here. It keeps it on my desk.
Hold on, let me take this off here so we can really see it. There we go.
There's my little Villalibre with his beard. Got that from my little trip to Bilbao very recently. They run out of Unai Simons, so never mind.
Villalibre, not the top choice. Bummer. All right. Anyway,
not a top choice. Interesting guy. Very quiet, very withdrawn, and very shy, according to people that know him. But
hiding behind the beard.
Yes, one of the biggest beards in football for sure. I would say the biggest, but I don't think that's true. There's that Polish goalkeeper Dragowski, who used to play for Fiorentina. I think he's at Spezia now. It's like literally down to his nipples. It's getting ridiculous. I don't know if it will come up in whatever picture it's in, but it's it's much longer than that now. Much longer. Anyway, this is not about beards, but he does have a good beard. He has a wicked. Oh, yeah. See, there we go.
Sorry.
We're in the same.
Sorry, I couldn't resist.
No, yeah, you're right. We're in the ballpark. I think it's even longer now, honestly. Back to Villalibre.
Yes.
Great beard, piercing stare, and plays the trumpet. If you haven't seen the clip,
I was not expecting that at all.
If you haven't seen the clip, in 2021, Athletic won the Supercopa, and that was thanks in part to Villalibre. Came off the bench, scored an equaliser. This was against Messi's Barcelona. They went on to win it, and then they all stood in the centre circle, and Villalibre got his trumpet out, and he led the chanting and the singing and the celebrating, which was really cool. Don't get a video of that up. We don't have time for that. But go and have a look in your own time. Now to the Sorare bit, the bit that's actually like quite relevant. Good striker. Hey.
You said no video.
There we go. Yeah, no, fair enough. There he is with his trumpet. He's a good striker. He genuinely is. But he hasn't really been able to get into this Athletic side recently. I don't think the manager seems to like him very much. Valverde, he doesn't actually have that many great options up front. I'm sure you guys have all looked at like Athletic Club strikers and gone, nah, don't really want that guy. Iñaki Williams doesn't score that many goals and stuff like that. So it's quite a difficult one. But at a certain point, if you're not playing much football, a la Gomez, you need to go out and play. And Villalibre has dropped down the division, despite the fact that he is definitely La Liga quality, to go down and play for Alaves, which on paper definitely feels very weird. It feels like way too low a level for him. But I think in order to try and explain that, one of the things I realized and learned about when I went to Bilbao and filmed that documentary is that these players are very, very attached to their club and very attached to their culture. They're from the Basque region and they kind of want to stay there. And Alaves is in the Basque region. So these two clubs are 50 kilometers apart from each other. So this would mean that Villalibre doesn't have to turn up his life, move cities, move counties, whatever. He can just go and play a bit of football until the end of the season. And play a bit of football he has done. He's come off the bench once and he's scored 2 goals. Very impressive. He's a strong man. He's not the tallest, but he's quite well built and quite stocky. And he scores pretty typical number 9 goals. Headers, box stuff, makes good runs. He's not electric fast. He's not toweringly tall. He's a dude. He's a dude in the box and he scores goals. And he's dropped down the level to the point where it's a bit of a mismatch. Alaves are one of the strongest 4 or 5 teams in the second division. And he now plays up front for them. Seems like a winner to me. I appreciate the price has already popped up, but looking at it genuinely, looking at the limited and the rare, and considering what you probably get from him to the end of the season, it still feels incredibly reasonable, if not a little bit under, honestly. And that L15 is quite poor. So there's your Laird bit as well.
Don't blame me for this. It's not a Laird bit. It's what we all play now.
It's the game mechanic.
I will say that I don't want the price graph to make everyone think like, oh, it's too late, because it basically dipped to where players who don't play are priced. And so the price is essentially where it was at the beginning of the season, when everybody is hopeful that all of their cards are starters and will bang goals all the time. And so I don't feel like this run up. I mean, obviously the run up came because he moved. Like, fundamentally, if you have somebody who's like not playing and they're like, oh, now I play here and I'm going to play, like, people are going to be interested. But like, it can still run. And frankly, he was priced up at the beginning of the season and was in a effectively a worse situation, right? Like, being a top league player in the top league is different than being a top league player in the second league. And so, or second division, excuse me. So like, you have the rest of this season to make up for whatever price theoretically you lost out on. And so like, this is one of those things that like, I look at this and not think, oh, I'm just way too late. It's just things have corrected and now there's room to grow, excuse me. And for $11 for a limited with an L15 of 36, and he scores 78 points in 100% of the games that he plays for Alaves. So,
yeah, very good, very good. I'll tell you what, one more thing here as well, just to touch upon what I said about Alaves being one of the strongest teams. Something that has occurred to me recently is that the second division playoffs. First of all, the thing you need to understand about second division Spanish football is that it never ends. The season never finishes. It just goes on and on and on and on and on and on. And it is ludicrous. And they'll get to the end of May and they'll finish and then they'll do playoffs. So top 2 will go up and then there'll be a playoff for third spot. There's a 2-legged semi-final playoff and then the finalists play a 2-legged game.
Wow.
And it's like, hang on a minute. If you finish 3rd, 4th, 5th or 6th in the second division, you could play 4 games in June. You're basically playing June. And I'm like, okay, so Mexico goes on a break in June.
Yeah.
All the other European leagues are done. Is this something that maybe some people are missing, or is this something I need to look at? Because if you can basically pick up a couple of assets from, like, say, Alaves, Levante, Granada, Eibar, I'm not saying 8 cards, but, like, you know, mix it up between those. 2 or 3 of those teams will 100% finish in the playoffs. Like, that's how it will go. And I'm just wondering if maybe if people start to get to the America conversation much too late and try to cover off June, this is actually a bit of a get out clause.
I love that. I absolutely love that, because I didn't know that, and I'm guessing a lot of people don't. Like, I feel like some people know that there are leagues that do like the promotion and relegation playoffs and whatnot, but schedule wise, Harry, did you know what the Segunda Division playoff schedule was?
I didn't, to be fair. Now I did a trade-off for this morning. I got rid of my only Segunda Division left defender in my gallery. So, yeah, maybe I should at Eibar. So it would have been nice. I want him as a reward. Albany, he's really good. I just needed a goal. I needed an extra goalkeeper, basically. So I did a little swapperoo with some ETH and whatever. But yeah, no, there's some really good players down there, especially under 23. We won't get into right now. But I've got Sorry, I need to stay on brand, guys. What do you want from me?
Oh, you're going to run out of under 23 soon. You'll be in the Segunda with me by March.
Question.
I swear.
I will be. Question: will Las Palmas make the playoffs? Do you think?
I mean, look, there's like 6 teams at the top who look pretty good.
Okay.
As in, like, they feel like they'll be top 6. I would suspect that Las Palmas take first or second.
Interesting.
They've got one of the best players in the division in Jonathan Vieira, and they just seem a bit more consistent. Levante are super solid, but don't score very many goals. Granada can't play away from home. Everyone seems a little bit flawed in their own way. But basically, the top 5 are the best 5 teams in the league by like a comfortable distance in terms of like when you watch them, you can see that. And then Albacete, Burgos, Leganés, they're okay. Yeah, I don't know. Burgos, do you remember they were the team that didn't concede for like 9 straight games at the start of the season?
What?
They had a goalkeeper called Jose Caro. Caro was
Caro,
it?
yeah.
And it was like, oh my God, he's like the best thing ever. And they have started
he was like consistently like 1.5 ETH, like his early rare cards, because people saw they literally do not concede. And you're just like,
no. On the playoffs thing, just it is an assumption for me that they would cover the Segunda playoffs. I don't see why they wouldn't if they've done the entire season. They would, yeah.
I would think so.
So yeah, I mean, that's basically, if you go back a couple of years, they played from like the 1st of June to like the 20th or something like that. It's like most of June. It just occurred to me that like, actually that's a summer card.
Yeah.
Technically.
Yeah.
And for a gallery like mine, obviously I've got some America coverage and stuff, but I've also got, I've got Russia and Denmark and Austria, which is mid-July, it's early starters.
Yeah.
It means that if I actually do have a bit of second division Spain, which I do, actually I'm sort of bridging the summer, like one end to the other, without necessarily leaning on Asia and America, which I think could work very well.
You
cracked the code. Who needs the K League?
Not me.
So yeah, just a reminder. Thank you, gentlemen, for all of that. Just a reminder to everyone that this watch list is available on Sorare Data. If you just somebody else has liked it somehow, even though our video is not streaming live. So how about that? Climbing our way up there. So yeah, if you just like that, then when you go to your own little page here on Sorare Data and my watch lists, this will show up on it, and every time it's updated, it'll automatically update for you there. If you have not liked the video yet, if you could please do so, that's always really helpful for getting more people to be aware of these and more aware of Sorare TV. So if you haven't subscribed to the channel, please do so. We will be back next week with 4 more players. Probably not Boubacar Kamara, but you never know. You never know.
He had to get a mention, didn't he?
Yeah.
One error led to a goal. Lucky not to get 2 at the weekend.
Which is why he wasn't brought up today.
Yeah.
Anyway, thank you very much, gentlemen, and I'll talk to you next week.
Thank you.